This is a training for real estate agents and consumers. And today we're going to discuss the 2 or 3 moving parts within a short sale that you really have to pay attention to. My name is Chris Boone. I'm the distressed property guy. I specialize in short sales and REOs, bank-owned foreclosures, and I'm licensed in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So item number 1 is the foreclosure sale date. This is critical. Where I have found that most sellers and real estate agents make their mistake is that they do not pay attention to a pending foreclosure sale date. And they miss this. And if they do, it'll creep up on you. And next thing you know, property is being sold at the county courthouse steps. So you need to constantly be in contact with the negotiator that represents the bank, and you need to be following up on any potential foreclosure sale date for the property. Now, for you real estate agents, 9 times out of 10, the seller is going to be in default when they hire you as their competent professional to sell the short sale. So if they're in default, you've got to constantly be following up on any potential foreclosure sale date. And what happens is, I've found from my experiences, agents will think that because they have filed for a short sale, they've even submitted some documents, that everything is humming along, and the short sale department is talking to the foreclosure sale department. They're 2 separate entities, and that is not the case at all. The right hand does not speak to the left hand. So it's your job as the agent to make sure that you follow up on that. And on the consumer side, please always make sure that you pay attention to any letters that you may get from the bank's attorney, and always read them carefully. And this really is the biggest reason, or one of the biggest reasons, you need to hire an agent for this. You need to hire an experienced agent. You need to hire an agent that has a pedigree of getting short sale approvals and knows and understands the ins and outs of a short sale. And certainly a foreclosure sale date is one of the big items. So if the seller is in default, which they are most of the time, the foreclosure activity is still going to continue. Okay. So even though you're selling it as a short sale, you're gathering documents, you're communicating with the negotiator, the foreclosure activity is still going to continue as long as the seller is in default. An agent must inquire weekly, at least weekly, if there are any foreclosure sale dates scheduled, and you need to do this or you will live to regret it. HOA and condo payments. So this is another moving piece of the short sale that needs to be addressed. So a couple of things here. You need to choose an experienced title company that has done short sales and have them pull a title report just to confirm there are no liens or judgments attached to the property. So you need to know this ahead of time. If there are liens and judgments, such as, let's say, late or in default condo and HOA payments that haven't been paid for months at a time, then that's going to have to be addressed, because it has been my experience that the bank, this is an expense the bank will not cover. One of the first things I ask the seller is, are you current on your HOA or condo payments? I ask them to try and stay current if they can, but if they aren't, I need to know how much they're in default. And most of the time, they would have received a letter from the HOA's attorney or the condo association's attorney, and they were trying to collect these payments. So I gather all that information. You need to know this right at the listing appointment so that it can be addressed, and this debt has to be settled. I've had experience where the buyer's agent myself, the listing agent, and maybe the buyer, or some combination of that, have come together and actually paid this. The seller doesn't have any money. They're not profiting from this sale, so they're not going to be able to cover. But either way, the important message here is that this is a payment that will not be covered under a short sale approval, and it has to be addressed up front. And again, typically the lender will not approve the payment of this type of expense. So you have to have some plan for repayment, and it has to be negotiated. I have, from my experience, been able to negotiate with the association's attorneys debts, let's just say $5,000 in default down to $1,000 to $2,000. And then we've had to figure out a payment plan for that. It's just better to know to understand this up front than 1 week before settlement. Another moving piece is how many loans are on the property. You need to know and understand, do we have a first and a second? Do we have a HELOC? Is there mortgage insurance? Is there different layers of loans that are on the property? You need to know and understand that, because every single loan has to be negotiated separately and concurrently, and they all have to obtain approval. So all loans will require processing and approval in order to close this successfully. So you got to, at the same time, negotiate and communicate with each one of the loans on the property. As always, the class is brought to you by Cindy Bishop Worldwide. We're a 5-star rated real estate training company, and please visit us at cindybishopworldwide.com.